Kad smo mi sačekali u boksu.
So it's really unacceptable. We know the rules. Definitely we can say that we are sorry that this battle didn't happen, but you as well need to understand from our perspective. Night Strike je uspešno za nami. Za začetek naj povem, da bomo govorili v angleškem jeziku, kajti Night Strike ima mednarodno udeležbo kot iz strani voznikov, kot iz strani obiskovalcev, in da bo lažje vsi razumeli, o čem bomo danes govorili, bomo uporabljali pač angleški jezik. So to start with, let me introduce myself. Well, everybody knows me under name Dre, and actually I've been involved with cars actually since my first baby steps. And with my age of 13, I got involved in the whole car community, the whole car scene, especially this tuner scene, and later on drifting. And from really early stage, I'm thankful that I had a chance to get involved with the gas tuning team, which was one of the leading teams in Slovenia when it comes to whole car tuning culture. But I was always checking out motorsport, and drifting kind of caught my attention as something that's reachable from perspective of anyone who wants to do some motorsport. And my first connection, if we leave Fast and Furious movies aside and all these option auto videos and best motoring stuff and all these kinds of stuff that nowadays you can find on YouTube, it was Auto Magazine Drift Challenge. I don't remember which year it was, but Auto Magazine guys were the pioneers when it comes to competitive drifting here in Slovenia, and they were doing this job for several years, and to be honest, I don't know why the whole thing stopped actually. So in the meantime, Dusan Lukic from Auto Magazine, who was actually the main promoter of the Auto Magazine Drift Challenge, kind of like was trying to convince us, hey guys, you're doing an amazing job with these tuning events. It seems like you have the vision, you have the flavor. Why don't you guys take over the Auto Magazine Drift Challenge, or call it whatever, just that something's going on the scene. And this was going quite for a couple of years. Like anytime we ran into each other was like questions, and why not do this? And as well, in the meanwhile, while I was building my 350Z, and it was clear that I put a lot of energy and especially a lot of money, like less euros into that car, that I don't want to damage or trash that car on the racetrack. And I kind of bought an S14, which was never planned at the very beginning to make it like a pro drift car, but I got hooked up super fast. And this was actually kind of a trigger that then I said to our crew, hey guys, what about this idea, us throwing a drift event actually? And it was like, okay, let's do this. Season 2, then I tried to back out and start competing there. But the problem was I was never into making a national championship, mainly because we are a small country. At that point, there were not a lot of drifters going on, and last but not least, everyone who knows me, I like to take some challenges, and I like to run stuff on the highest level as possible, and I didn't see like a national championship thing kind of going on at that point. And already being familiar with the King of Europe series, I got this idea, okay, why not make it like a regional championship and try to connect ex-Yugoslavian countries that already have their own drift scene and make it like that, like make it like a regional championship. And we got guys from Serbia hooked up immediately, whilst on the Croatian side we ran into a challenge because the guys were not into it, and to be honest, actually they were being a bit arrogant about it. But we say, okay, this will not be an obstacle, we will find eventually a promoter who will help us put at least one event in Croatia together. And we did, and Adria Drift Series was born in 2015. It ran through 3 countries with 5 different stops, and I must say that season was amazing, especially the first race in Raceland. I still have like really nice memories about it, and I'm saying that this was probably still the best event we ever threw, even though it cannot like compare to Night Strike even close now. But at that point, like if we take a certain period of time, it was an awesome event. And already in 2016, it showed up that things are on the right path, like development of the drivers, development of the cars already after a season. It was just incredible. We got attention from drivers as well, coming from Italy, Austria, at the very first race from Germany, later on from Hungary. And this is how I also met a lot of new friends and a lot of new possibilities. So from one perspective now, you can understand me as a car enthusiast, as a drift enthusiast. And now on the other perspective, you can see me as a Adria Drift Series promoter, or let's call it an event organizer or manager or whatever you want to call it. In the meantime, I made like really good connections with Dri brothers, Eli and Joe Kuntonji, and all the crew and family around it. And I got a chance to travel with the guys throughout the whole Europe, being on different events like King of Europe, like Drift All Stars back in the days, Drift Masters, what was it? High Performance Days at Hockenheim, Nürburgring Drift Cup. Actually, I traveled with the guys throughout the whole Europe. And I got to see these events up close, you know, how the events are running, getting to know the judges. I was having multi-roles in the team, doing some media stuff on one side, and the other side doing some spotting for them as well, so working as a spotter. And what to say, guys were capable winning several races and later on in 2017 becoming as well champions of Europe as driver, as a team. So now you have the third perspective from my side, and the fourth perspective is as a driver. So then you have these people talking bad about Night Strike, talking bad about us, saying that they are most decorated drivers here in Slovenia or in the region. So does that make you like a reliable source, talking about how stuff should work? Or somebody who has done all this stuff that I was mentioning now? I don't think so. But before we continue in that direction, I would like to ask Herz and Clement to join me in this conversation, and let's focus on this Night Strike in particular. So to begin with, we're going to reflect a bit on the last Night Strike Automotive Festival, and as well pull out some parallels to all of our experiences over the past, almost a whole decade. And maybe to begin with, we want to clarify the whole thing without a battle for third place. Clement was directly involved with that, and definitely we can say that we are sorry that this battle didn't happen, but you as well need to understand from our perspective, maybe as well to go just on the briefing side, where we set up like a new rules and regulations, which means you call 5-minute rule, and you go to your paddock, you try to fix your car, and once the buzzer hit, you're out of the whole race. And one novelty that was in the rulebook is that no other driver can give another driver 5-minute rule, which also Hertz experienced last year, because some driver said that he was given these 5 minutes, but it wasn't actually.
Yeah.
And that was a big issue. Plus, you need to as well understand from our perspective, when it comes to the timetable, how much of a delay this is. If somebody is taking 5-minute rule, it's not just 5 minutes, because he needs to come to the paddock, to his box, slowly, try to fix the car in 5 minutes, and then get back out. Now, imagine that there somebody calls 5 minutes for him, it delays so much. So, you need to have the team ready. Sometimes you can fix stuff in 5 minutes. We've seen in, let's say, world-known series that some teams are capable of changing the engine in 5 minutes, but you know, something can go wrong. Some bolt, some nut, whatever, and you're not managing to fix the whole car. And regarding that, like, let's say, taking a look at the Night Strike, it was a battle for semifinals, right? Or a semi-final battle for the final, actually. Yeah.
Semi-final battle, yeah.
Semi-final battle, and the driver didn't manage to fix the car in 5 minutes. So the delegates in the paddock, time was out, and they said, okay, he didn't fix the car, let's continue.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the first semi-final battle. Vuk progressed to the finals due to Milos's car not being ready in time. Of course, we then completed the second semi-final battle, and of course, the problem which occurred is that after the second semi-final battle was done, there was Mike who lost the other semi-final on the track, and no one who should be running against him. In this case, that was Milos Ilic. And of course, there was miscommunication. So on one hand, I accepted my part in this, basically not rechecking if Milos's car is ready.
But like I was saying, it's a 50-50 here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, Milos was waiting in his paddock, basically on his spot. He did not return to the track, and since the car hadn't been repaired for the semi-final battle, we naturally just assumed that the car was broken, couldn't run anymore, and that's why, of course, we didn't recheck, re-evaluate the situation. We just thought Milos's car is not working, hence Mike has no one to run against him, and his third place is basically done for.
In which I would say I'm totally backing our guys, because it's a big thing that we are doing here, and actually checking on everybody consistently, it's exhausting and really time consuming. But on the other side, like, really sorry, because I bet we would see an awesome battle for
It
third
would have
place.
been an awesome battle, and we would, of course, everyone would have loved to see
Exactly. And
Burdick go against Ilic.
I'm sorry for the spectators as well, not just
Exactly.
the driver's side.
It just, you know, I took my part of responsibility in this. On the other hand, some accountability has to be on the drivers or the team side, because he did not come back. He was basically waiting in his box. So had he returned to the pit exit, we would have seen him, because there was clear visible line from the judging tower, from my point of view as the race director, to there. And because no one was there, we just assumed the car isn't working, and that's why we just let the third place battle be a bye run, and that was it.
Sorry, just go for the beginning. You know, you mentioned when you're calling 5 minutes and the car is not ready, so the car is damaged. You're out not of this total race, so you're out of the race. So
yeah, definitely. Definitely, it was communicated on the briefing. As soon as the mechanic touches the car, 5 minutes, there will be a timer. So our track marshal will have a timer, and when it buzzes, it's over. Okay, so 1 second till the end, car needs to be off the jacks, hands off the car, then you're safe. Otherwise, you're disqualified, you're out of the race. Okay, that clear?
It's and also in the rules, you have to know that every driver got, when they confirm, apply for the race, they got the rules. So they need to bring the signed paper, they know the rules, and when they are going to for the briefing, of course, in the event control, they also signing the papers, they obey the rules, they know the
Minding
rules.
that there as well,
yes,
they apply
yes.
for the race,
Yes,
they agree
yes,
with
of
rules
course.
and regulations.
But nevertheless, okay, he should be out of the race, because he called 5 minutes, the car wasn't ready. But everybody knows, look, you have a team. You're not just a driver. You have a crew member, you have a team members, team manager, whatever. You can always go to the starter. You know, you can always find one guy, two guys, which are the whole day in the paddock, and you just let them know, hey, we are ready. What to do? You know,
exactly.
We know, in theory, we know where's Park Fermé. They should go there and wait. We know after the whole day, it's hectical, it's stressful. Everybody wants to win. So it can be a little bit, confusing what to do, but please guys, just run to the starter and just say, hey, we're ready, what to do. And from our perspective, as an organizer, as a race director, yeah, we know the rules, you cannot compete, but because of the, let's say, our goal to do as much as we can for the drivers, we will let the race for sure for third place. That's it.
So yeah, if we check this out, and definitely, like I mentioned, it would be an awesome battle, and we as well would accept him to compete in the third place battle, even though in regulations, if you don't fix the car, you're out of the race. We are here as well willing to, because it's actually in the rule book that the race director can accept some changes. So in that manner, we would accept him to compete. It was not we forbid him to compete. And one more thing to add that was mentioned as well, visibility from the paddock to the track in comparison to the last years. Unfortunately, well, the thing goes like that. Paddock was all the time set up on the track, but as Night Strike, as a whole festival grew, we cannot have paddock on the track anymore. It is what it is, it's just like that. And one thing to add, I don't want to blame anybody, but looking at the last 2 years when the night strike was well on Sunday, a lot of teams were lefting a lot of garbage, a lot of tires on the track where the paddock was. And on Sunday the program goes on, which meant everybody had to wake up super early and start cleaning the track. That's first. And the second is, like we know, every owner of the racetrack respects its racetrack like its own garden. And having oil marks or coolant marks or petrol marks on the track, it's like really a no-go with them. In that case, we decided to move the paddock where the paddock was this year. And as well, I can say, looking as I was, let's say, Europe-wise on a lot of races, I would say in most cases, you don't see the racetrack from the paddock. And it is what it is, so teams have the access to be by the track. They have radio communication or whatsoever communication. So this should not be a problem here, and this should not be a problem for the future as well. But if I return a little bit back to this third place story, is that, we are definitely partly taking the blame, and we're sorry about it. But for me, what is unacceptable is that you have a whole team shouting.
Zato što čekamo da dođu oni.
It doesn't matter, is it to a race director or whatever staff on the event, even to other drivers or guests on the event. This is, I would say, totally unacceptable. But on the other side, I kind of get the heat of the moment. But, you know, you need to take a look at both sides, definitely. And I bet you was in your place as well that would be possibly able to shout back at somebody or sending somebody to whatever, but you keep it professional and clean, which is like huge respect for that.
You also have to know it's hard, because when somebody exposes like Clement did as a race director, I have experience from past races, and it's like 4, 5, 6 people shouting on you, you're already in the position that what you can do. You're only one, you know. What it can mean, yeah, so what? They think that the whole organization or the whole judges or the whole, I don't know, staff will come there and I don't know what, to have a debate or what. So it's really unacceptable. We know the rules, there is no complaints.
Yeah.
In the past you can send written complaints, pay some fee, but no, from I think last year on, there are no complaints. That's it. Especially between the race, that's it.
Yeah.
Even mistakes can happen, but no complaints. Stay in the pits. And not just for the drivers, we have some challenges with also team members.
Mainly behave, basically, yeah.
You know, mistakes will happen, or somebody thinks that something is wrong because they didn't read the rule book, but still.
Or see something from their own perspective, which is not the right perspective.
Sometimes they're just looking from the ground. When the judges are on the high, you know, on some different, see much more of the track and everything. A lot of people think that they saw something. You also have spotters on the track. They can see the lines, everything. If one wheel went off, stuff like that. So, but yeah, the main goal is it's not the right attitude, you know, to jump immediately on some guy or somebody which is part of the race.
Take a deep breath and think about it as well. We are asking all the time the drivers after Saturday battles, after the trophy ceremony, hey, come to us, give us your feedback. It doesn't matter, good or bad, let's talk, because we are together into this. We all love this sport, and only together we can make it bigger and better for sure.
Look, guys, we were in several races in Austria, Germany, Hungary. Never happened. And they were not satisfied with the results, for sure not, because everyone wants to win, but not even one was shouting or complaining on the track. Come on the track. Track is closed. Look, you cannot go on the track. That's it.
As mentioned, me running with the three brothers, actually the whole Europe, different series, I can tell for sure as well there were moments, either qualification or battle deciders, that we were like looking at each other. Hey, how is the score so low? Or why did we lose the battle? But every time keeping it cool, analyze everything, take a deep breath, come to another race and do better. And as well, what I can say on the other side, sometimes we even took a look at the score, and the score was impressively bigger than we expected it to be. So it's always something. But the most important thing is, to keep your cool, to keep calm, and just take a deep breath. I would say that we are already in a sport that it's a bit kind of a, how to say, not underdog, but not as let's say mainstream appreciated as, I don't know, rally, F1, endurance series whatsoever, and we should take care of this stuff for sure now in the future. And I must say for sure that for the future we will be even more strict when it comes to situations like this, because throughout the years it's been a lot.
Look, I think I can say from my side, because I was, I think, race director for more than 20 races. Yeah, we made the mistakes, because I'm not counting anymore when some team members were shouting on me, and there was no reason really.
And we're not talking about drivers. We're just talking.
Just the team members. Yeah. You can see that there was some substances or I don't know, drinks or something. It doesn't matter, but yeah, we should just disqualify the driver and the whole team. That's it. Sorry, but you're out. But we all are looking for different perspective. Okay, they're not happy because the car broke and they want to change the car from other driver. Sorry, we got the rules, you cannot do that. And now not everybody understands in their pits.
And it's about giving the opportunities.
Okay, your head is warm, okay, let's go out. I was just looking what to do. Okay, I'm an organizer or I'm a race director. I should be more smarter, but if I'm looking it back, strike one, you're out, because this is not the kind of behavior, That's it. You're not complaining in Germany, Austria, Italy, Hungary, I don't know, but it is how it is, We kind of get used to it.
And I would say I can probably say that we are not speaking only on behalf as organizers of Adriatic Series or Night Strike, but I would say that other organizers in the region have similar problems, unfortunately. And maybe to add on and continue from this part on, and drivers complaining, and like I said, every briefing we ask drivers for their feedback, like let's talk in person, let's talk it out, especially if there's something unsatisfying. You don't need to go over social media platforms, because everybody has their own team. Of course they're gonna take sides, nevertheless, if they're wrong or not. And it's a bit of a shame that kind of situations happen, especially when you have fans who actually are not on the briefing. They understand drifting. I'm not saying that they don't understand drifting, but they don't see the picture where we ask the drivers to be at certain positions or at certain spots. On the other side, I must say that I appreciate drivers that they come back home and they analyze their drives. But as well, they need to see it from much wider picture than they're probably looking at, because everybody's looking just at themselves. For me, it's the same. I look me as me, and how do I do? But I need to take a look at the whole picture, And this probably goes to the final battle, which was complained over certain drivers' YouTube channel.
Međutim, nismo nikako zadovoljni. Opet je na kraju ispalo da nas je izradilo. Nisam na trci ništa govorio.
And firstly, look, there is no disrespect to any driver, especially from my side. I respect all the drivers, but let's start at the beginning that first you need to respect the organization and the rules, and in which we come that you have a driver, for starters, not wearing his driving gloves. That's the beginning. And secondly, you have a drone operator which is breaching drone flying regulations in an area such as Raceland, because there is a military airbase nearby and the restrictions are really clear. And you have a drone operator operating a drone without license. I will not judge that, but definitely without an approval that he can do that, and flying way above the top high limit.
Especially without approval of the organizer. That's it. So this is the main thing. You cannot go,
But to leave that aside, okay? The driver was asking for the feedback from our officials, and he got the feedback, and the feedback was really clear, because we together were discussing about it, and feedback was super clear. I was not on the judges' tower. I was watching it from a side. Plus, I take a look at the footage, and the decision was right there. Actually, it was firstly in the thing, do one more time or not do one more time, but we had a track marshal who saw one wheel off at a certain point, which for me, when I got this information, was clear who the winner was, unfortunately. And to add to that, people were saying you were rushing to finish the race as soon as possible because of a certain delay, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, but that's complete bullshit.
Mislim da su bili u žurbi sa vremenom, kasnilo je sve.
I can say that in the last 5 years, yeah, I think we expand the event for sure 3 times already. So we have still 1 hour to go, actually.
Yeah, but we are talking. Actually, you need to know that the whole event has an approval that can run till midnight.
So it's time.
And the trophy ceremony was at 11 or something.
What my basically biggest proof here is you two are organizers of the event. I'm the race director. I'm not an organizer as such. And my job as race director is to see the race go through as it's meant to. So if there is a situation where organization is running late for whatever reason, I still have to do my part. I don't really give a shit when the race will end. The race will end.
You need to argue us.
Yeah, exactly. I will go against you two. You two can be shouting at me like we need to finish this, but I will see the race go through. And if there was a need for a one more time, there would have been a one more time.
Definitely.
In this case, it was a close run, a tightly judged run. The judges had a lot of discussion going in.
And not just to say that, you as well had a camera.
Had a camera and had track marshals positioned on the outer side, which was difficult from the judging tower to see.
Yeah.
And of course, Adri was then debating whether or not he had been one wheel off. But in this case, we had specifically a person sat there just to see what we couldn't have seen because of the smoke and because of the bad lighting. Basically, the race runs in the night, so there's no natural lighting. And of course, the guy who was designated to check if any driver went a wheel or 2 wheels off spotted it immediately. And we also got a confirmation from the guy standing in the center. So basically 2 separate guys called a wheel off. And that's good enough for me as a judge, as a race director, because I have to trust my team.
Yeah.
And if they called a 1 wheel off, it's a 1 wheel off for me. There's no more debate.
It's all about a trust. And one thing as well that you need to understand, why on earth would anybody think that we want to set up races or, I don't know, make damage to somebody? Look, we are here mainly, firstly, because we love the sport and we want to run this stuff and we want to run it on as professional level and on the highest level as possible. And don't call me cocky or anything, but I can say easily that we are doing a good job. Definitely.
So yeah, it's
like looking Europe-wise events and everything, I can easily say that we have top-level event here in the region.
Our goal is that the best driver wins. It doesn't matter that the best driver should be the best through the whole day. Yeah, can be good in qualification or in practice, good in top 16, but yeah, the race is long. You have to know.
It's a long weekend.
The conditions are changing, so some drivers, they have a challenge because they're running so much hours already. The night is falling down, and the mistakes will happen because the head is full. It's hard to maintain the conditions and everything, the concentration, and especially look in the end. If you ask me about our decision, and some driver asking multiple persons about feedback, and of course after that it's already published on YouTube, and we got the feedback, we give the evidence, and there is no answer, nothing, no thanks, thank you, I don't agree with that. It seems that we're right because when you're shutting down, we're just not. We really try to put them in the spotlight. That's the main.
Definitely.
Thing. To have a nice video, nice photos, and in the end, it's on the driver how to,
Like I mentioned before you to join me from my previous experiences and why the whole thing started as Other Series from my perspective. I was looking at the event as from a driver's perspective, as how me as driver would like to experience a certain event. And as well in the past, we were listening complaints from some drivers that they don't have much practice time. But let's take a look at that, because you start Friday, 4 o'clock, practice runs till 8 o'clock. That means 4 hours of practice time. Then we go to Saturday, the game day. Practice runs from 1 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 4:30, which means another 3 hours. This year we as well brought an addition of Sunday, so everybody can get even more sit time. Of course, competition is already over, but you can practice, you can drive, or you can just have fun.
And there is no limitation about the tandem and twin runs, because we from the start that's on, we told everybody, look, because we were used to it, to have just solo runs for like first day, before the qualifications. So now immediately from the beginning, guys, just go nuts, just drive, you know.
There were some complaints or question marks. We have the stickers which say you can do 5 chase runs and you can do 5 lead runs, because there was a complaint on the stickers, but then complaint was why some drivers are only getting into a chase position. Yeah, they can. They have 5.
Yeah, they can 5 and
they can do 5, but then they need to be in the lead position. This is why we actually brought this idea here, because everybody was all the time just setting up for the chase run. Nobody did for the lead run, and this is why this rule came in place. But we said, okay, Friday you have this, but on Saturday you're gonna get a clean sheet of the sticker.
Maybe just a question from my side, because you were used to run, you know, with Kutonjis. How many laps did you do it on a race? I didn't think so much, you know, like 10 runs.
I can tell you from the Drift Master side, if the driver is capable to do 3 practice runs or 4 practice runs, can be really satisfied on the game day.
Maybe here I'm a little bit on a different side, but sorry guys and everybody, it's a race day, it's not practice day.
Yeah.
When you go to the basketball game, you're not practicing like 5 hours, you have 10 minutes and then it's a game. You have to practice in your own time, you have to set the card. Of course, you have to set the card because of the track is different. But in the end, if you're really experienced drivers with a lot of, let's say, I can say mileage, 2, 3, 4 runs, that's it. You're ready to go. Yeah. You can win nice track easily.
Well, definitely, maybe for the future, we can think about doing Drift Week Matsuri and just have a whole week of racing. Yeah. But I'm not sure if we can survive it.
And the drivers, and the cars.
And the drivers, and the cars, especially the cars.
You have to know, I can tell, because when you expand the practice sessions, it's like that. After 4 or 5 runs, also the drivers, they're starting making mistakes. They try to be more aggressive, they try to set
push the limits, of course.
Push the limits, and they're not just pushing themselves, but also the cars are breaking down. We have to know the race is in October. In a lot of cases, it's like 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th race already in the year, and the material is damaged. We always suffer a lot of repairs over the night, a lot of car damages, and also it can happen already in the past that we were like having 30 drivers in the pits, but in the end it was like just 20 something that was able to compete actually, in the qualifications.
Yeah.
And then in the end they were Byron. So I think everybody, also the spectators and the drivers, wants to have the battles that counts for some result.
Well, everybody's waiting for the battles to start, actually, to be honest. But of course, everybody wants to do as much practice as possible. It's same from my perspective, looking into things that every time we go for the competition, I would like to do more and more and more. But it is what it is at the end. You have this slot, and
this is why we have on Night Strike. It's Sunday fun day. So
exactly,
go nuts.
On Sunday.
You can drive, of course.
But not too much nuts.
You can drive for 3-4 more hours, so that's it. So if you have the have the spare parts, tires, I don't know, the capability, just go, But I'm thinking on a race day, look, I will say it loudly, the training session, it's more than enough.
Yeah.
From organizer's perspective, even too much, because you have to know, you have marshals, there are so much time spending, can start on the track, monitor everything. Standing on feet. It's only the first day, so it's quite difficult. You have to know we are not a professional organizer.
Well, it's not a business.
I can say it's professional made, but it's not a business. So guys are coming from the jobs. It's not an excuse, but you have to know, like drivers, I think.
It's far from making excuses, but we are trying for you to understand
it's real life.
How it all runs, actually.
You're running from your job to go on the track. Because why? You want to help the organizer, you're keen then for the sport, you want to see the cars, you're enthusiastic, you will do it for free. But look, it's real life, you have to know.
Yeah, and like as well, you need to understand from us as main organizers, like how my week for night strike is looking like, because I mean week in the night strike week, you know. So this year I was had to be there already Wednesday, and I arrived home, not home, but here to base from Sunday on Monday, midnight, you know. But it's not like making excuses, just for you to understand. And the whole event preparations are taking like more than half a year up in advance.
Just fun fact from somebody who is a little bit in the background. Yeah, I make like, I'm not joking, 60 kilometers through 3 days. 60 kilometers on
foot, yeah.
On foot, on a really small track. That's it.
Yeah. So all we are trying to do here is just to get a little bit of appreciation. It's not making any kind of excuses. And yeah, with this year's night strike, we have a lot of challenges because we made a couple of changes, add some novelties. For instance, we moved the whole paddock from the track to a special new area, which took a lot of additional stuff that needed to be made, like getting some surface paved, removing some fences and stuff like that. And yeah, we added like a road closure and stuff. So yeah, we basically had to learn some stuff from the beginning. Trouble that, because you need to start understanding stuff almost from the beginning. And the main actual issue in this year's night strike was the electricity, or actually the whole sound setup. Look, we're having the same sound guy for, I don't know, probably like 5 years now, and there was no issues, but yeah.
Yeah, something wasn't okay with the speaker, I imagine. So yeah, we have like 4 issues, and it's not just to plug it on. One phase went out, so you need a special some electrician that's come from the regional company, from an electro company, and you have to call them. It's like ambulance, and he takes some time. You're hoping that he's ready, because it can take even 1 hour to come, you know. So I can say, despite the situation, we were quite lucky. Yeah, because it could happen that we even have to cancel the race on Saturday. It
was actually that close, you know, because lucky or unlucky, we were running like half an hour late with the trophy ceremony, which in given situation, I would say it's not.
But even I mentioned already, look, we know what happened, not this year, last year, because we had the same challenges with some drivers and some staff member, you know, they were on the track complaining, so deja vu this year, and we were like late for 1 hour. It was already tricky what to do, you know, because also the fog went down, and it was quite a tricky what to do, because we really needed to close the track, you know, and to close the race, you know. And you forgot about it, something new for this year. Yeah, let's be honest. I think it was quite 16 or even 20 new drivers. Yeah, first time here in Night Strike in Krško. And it's hard because they still they didn't know everything. Yeah, we explained everything on briefing, but the flow, the introduction, how this is going on, it was really punctual on the minute. Yes, surprise somebody. When we are setting up the agenda, we predict how certain part of the event should belong. And about this year, Clement can probably relate to that. The briefing was a bit too long, and I guess this has to do with because of so many new drivers came to the night strike.
And there were a lot of questions from drivers, and it's always important to talk about everything what the drivers want to know. If there's any uncertainties, if there's anything that's still up in the air, it's always better to resolve this before competition, so there are no excuses, no basically hard feelings afterwards. And yeah, that's it. But we always compensate for that in later programs, so tiny portions get cut out or whatever, so we are back on time. And yeah, just to point this out, because there was a lot of talk about the race being late. The race was on point up until the point when the blackout happened. Yeah. So basically it was the blackouts that delayed everything, because without music, without speakers, without lights especially, but even for, of course, firstly for the drivers it's impossible to drive without the lights on because the visibility is really poor. Secondly, the crowd does not know what's going on because there's no one on the mic, because the mic doesn't work, there's no speakers, there's nothing. And of course for everyone else who are involved, who are in the background, it's also a complication because communication is made a lot more difficult when there's no power
Visibility, yeah.
So that's basically the main issue. And yeah, it occurred more than once. So we had to get the guy from the electrical company.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times.
Basically be there on the side actually.
Yeah.
And
to come to power everything back up. And then again, the type of reflectors that are used at Raceland, they need a little bit of time to heat up again to really,
They have to cool down, wait some minutes, and then you can plug it on. If not, it's
bulbs can
it's
go
not
bad.
working. It's not working.
And to add to that, like you mentioned, the blackout right in the crucial time when the race was about to start the top 16, we had a 10-minute program before the top 16, which we actually cancelled to start top 16 on time because of that. And now we come to the debate about the drift taxi runs after the top 16. So actually these 10 minutes we saw we can bring back in because the top 16 ended a bit earlier than it was scheduled. So these demo runs, this 10-minute slot that was there was scheduled then. And it was not drift taxi runs. Actually, we had a special event featured on Night Strike, which firstly I had some second thoughts about it, but at the end I said, man, if you are such a big fanatics, let's do it, because we had like an engagement going on the track, and I think this was nice, and to give them opportunity as big fans of the whole car culture and drifting, I think this was totally awesome and understandable. And then we run drift taxis for half an hour and extended for like extra 10 minutes.
Cijeli top 8 je kasnija skoro uru vremena radi drift taksija, jer su oni valjda, ne znam, htjeli šta više para izvući iz drift taksija, imali su valjda ljude u redu šta su čekali drift taksi i onda su ono produžili drift taksi za uru vremena i odgodili top 8 za uru vremena.
Because the great day drivers were just not ready and not on point. Am I correct?
We were waiting for the drivers. We were, we have this year 2 drift taxis, but also one was broken half of the time because shit happens. And we were online with Clemens, so what to do? Just run it. So we tried to cover some additional people because, honestly,
Actually, we don't want to have the track empty.
No, because
that's the thing.
It's still drifting, and about drift taxi, we are still limiting the taxi because we could run it like for 5 hours.
Inquiry is huge, believe me. Inquiry is...
and it's really hard because we're getting complaints over in the email on the track, because while there is no more drift taxi, I cannot buy it. I won't come tomorrow. So a lot of complaints, but we as organizer, we have to take it into consideration. We have to limit it. Definitely. And we actually have it like 3 times on main day, so like 3 times per 30 minutes at 4 o'clock. I think it's 7:30 and 9 o'clock. That's it.
About it, yeah.
That's it,
So it's not that we want to run a drift taxi event, because believe me, if we want to do a drift taxi event, we can do it.
It's easier. It's actually much easier for us.
Definitely. So this is like a fill-in program in between the breaks when the drivers are preparing for the next rounds of competition.
Because we also have to know, we cannot run it. In the past, we were having pause after top 16, it was like 30 minutes. After top 8, 30 minutes. After top 4, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So now we're running from top 8 till the end. Because we know, some 5 minutes will be called, 1 more time will be called, some miscommunication from the
bells are getting tired.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but look, we have to know, also the drivers need a time to change the tires, to calm down a little bit, talk with the spotter, I hope they have it, to tell them where can you be better, or okay, you're running this guy and he's maybe a little bit slower, a little bit shallow, so get ready, also to get the car ready.
And furthermore, to add up with the drift taxis it's not something that we just made up this year or last year. Like drift taxis are around like probably since 2007-8 with Auto Magazine Drift Challenge, and later on 2015 with other drift series, like every single race. Drift taxi was always present on the events, and will always be present at the events, and you need to know that. Because like I said, it's a filler, people want that, and believe me, even from the spectator point of view, you probably like to see a little break, so you don't want to miss a battle, so you can go grab a beer, grab a burger, grab whatever, or you need to take your time to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's breaks are kind of a mandatory.
And we also were used to it, we were a lot of abroad, especially in Greibach. We were part of, as a drift taxi crew in Greibach, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
We went there for,
Several years, yeah.
Drift Kings there, and we part of the taxi team. Help Luka Marko Grošo. He was providing the taxi there, so we saw that how these things are working, and actually it was no-brainer for 2015.
And that's a little something from our side, just for you to see and try to understand things from our perspective. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon, guys.
Charge 4